interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Welcome to the 2023 Dakar Rally edition of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. Bringing you daily updates as competitors take on over 5,000 miles in 15 days across the Arabian Peninsula. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Chasing Waypoints for more updates and news from the bivouac. That being said, let's get to it. All right, what is going on, guys? It is the Stage 9 preview show. It is rest day, and these guys are getting, let's see, well, no. It is the end of rest day right now in Saudi Arabia, and these guys are getting ready to go to bed, getting them final things. Bikes probably already done and put back together again, and just hanging out and getting ready for the second half of the 2023 Dakar Rally. And so looking forward to that. I think here we go. Right. Next stop. First stop was rest day, and they got a little bit lucky and they got an extra day in there on the marathon stage, the first half of the marathon just being a commute to the marathon bivouac. And then from there racing back to Riyadh. So I am looking forward to see how this shakes down, because we have got another stage that I think is going to favor the American riders, particularly the guys up top. Skylar House, currently your overall leader. Mason Klein finishing finishing third on stage number 8. So definitely putting on a show. I think this stage is going to favor them. Jacob Argybright as well. Paul Neff as well. Again, being a more desert-like stage, I think that we're going to be seeing a little bit faster times out of those guys versus in the dunes. But either way, well, I can't take anything from Skylar House is then again leading the overall right now in the rally. He even had time to do a no-footer off of one of the dunes. So he's out there obviously having a lot of fun, and that is absolutely awesome to see. Putting in that effort, making it happen, and the fastest stash in Saudi Arabia. So I am looking forward to what continues to happen. Hopefully this trend continues, and we get some Americans on the podium. So let's talk a little bit about where we are at right now in the overall standings. Let's take a look at that first, because this is where it is going to get interesting. All right, let's see here. Stage. That was the stage 1. Okay. So right now, let's take a look at this after stage number 8, right? We are at Skylar House leading the way right now on the Husqvarna factory racing bike. 30 hours, 34 minutes, and 16 seconds is his total time at the moment. And then let's take a look here. From there, let's go here. Let's put that on that one. Now we'll just go with the pro mode here. Ta-da. All right, let's see. It's interesting trying to get this app to do everything that I want it to do in just one shot without having to mess with it. Here we go. Okay, this looks much better. Here we go. Okay, so Skylar House capitalized. Ooh, look at that. I like that. Okay, Skylar House on the Husqvarna factory racing bike currently sits at 30 hours, 34 minutes, and 16 seconds overall time, with a 11 minute and 52 second bonus time added to his time, or taken from his overall time. So that is pretty awesome to see that the bonus time is actually working, with only taking on only a 1 minute penalty. Then it is Kevin Max Benavides on the Red Bull KTM factory racing bike, currently running second with only a 3 minute penalty. He sits at 30 hours, 34 minutes, and 29 seconds. Sound familiar? Yeah. Skylar House is in that same minute. 13 seconds right now at the halfway point after 3,000 miles. It's down to 13 seconds for the overall. And then third in his second, I repeat, second Dakar ever. Dakar, not Dakar. Second Dakar ever with a total bonus time of 8 minutes and 31 seconds, a penalty time of 4 minutes total. It is none other than Mason Klein on the BAS World KTM Racing Team. 30 hours, 34 minutes, and 29 seconds. Sits tied with Kevin Benavides at 13 seconds behind your current overall leader, Skylar Howes. So that is absolutely huge. Taking a look at it, I mean, it's easy from 7,000 miles away to look at it and go, well, he's got 4 minutes worth of penalties. That would be him in the lead by 4 minutes right now, roughly. That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy performance coming out of Mason Klein. All of his practice, all of his work, everything he has been doing has been coming together for this rally. And the fact that he's collected podiums consistently and the fact that he is literally third overall going into or coming out of the rest day is absolutely huge. So let's move on and let's find out more about our top 10 here. In the number 4 spot, Toby Price on the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing Bike, 30 hours, 36 minutes, and 14 seconds. He is 158 behind the leader. And then you have Pablo Quintanilla in the number 5 spot on the Monster Energy Honda team, 3 hours, 37 minutes, and 1 second. He is 245 behind the leader. Then you have Aiden Van Beveren in the number 6 spot on the Monster Energy Honda team, 30 hours, 37 minutes, and 5 seconds. He is 2 minutes and 49 seconds behind the leader. So, top 6, 2 minutes and 49 seconds behind. The gaps are absolutely crazy. The gap between these riders, you're talking about from 4th to 5th, just over, I mean, barely a minute, not even a minute. Then you're talking about 5th to 6th, you're talking about 4 seconds. Daniel Sanders in the number 7 spot currently on the Red Bull Gas Factory Racing Bike, 30 hours, 41 minutes, and 19 seconds. He is 7 minutes and 3 seconds behind the leader. And then Joan Barreda Bort in the number 8 spot on the Monster Energy JB team, 30 hours, 41 minutes, and 37 seconds. He is 7 minutes and 21 seconds behind the leader. Nacho Cornejo in the number 9 spot, Monster Energy Honda team, 30 hours, 53 minutes, and 48 seconds. He sits 19 minutes and 32 seconds behind the leader. Matthias Wagner rounding out that top 10 on the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing Bike, 30 hours, 56 minutes, and 51 seconds. He is 22 minutes and 35 seconds behind the leader. And then let's take a quick look down the line so we get an idea here. Luciano Benavides, Husqvarna Factory Racing teammate to Skylar Howes, 30 hours, 58 minutes, and 48 seconds. He sits 24 minutes and 32 seconds behind your race leader right now. Santolino right now in the Sherco Factory sitting in 12th. Just taking a quick look down the line here. Cool. All right, so let's take a look. Where are we at? Divisi, Nomade Racing. I believe that he is, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's out of the GP world. Could be wrong. I'm going to have to look that up. But let's see here. All right. Okay. Did you guys like that sound effect? We're doing sound effects this morning. All right, stage results, we already know. Stage number 8, it was Ross Branch leading the way, showing everybody the fast way through stage 8. Mason Klein bringing up that number 2 spot, and then Daniel Sanders in the number 3. And I believe there may have been some changes in there. But anyway, overall is what we are after right now. Not looking at the map, don't need the map. Why did I go into the map? Fired. So it gets a little tricky here, but let's take a look at, no, we don't need stage 9, original by Motul. Let's take a look at the original by Motul's guy and take a look and see what we got going on. Peter Velchek hanging out in that number 8 spot right now. And then you have got, headed down here, Paul Neff headed 15th, 21 hours and 17 minutes behind. He has taken on some time and taken on some penalties, but you know what? He is absolutely cranking away. The goal was to finish. That was the American Rally Originals guys. That was their team. That was what they were looking to do. So right now, Paul Neff, Mo Hart, and Jim Pearson still in it for the team, with Kyle McCoy and David Pearson having to retire due to injury. So bummer to see that for those guys, but I am hoping that the rest of the team, the other 3, are doing well and trying to work. I'm working on getting some updates from them, but obviously it's a little bit different with the original by Motools category and the Malamoto or trunk racing, as we are affectionately calling it. It is a little bit more difficult because you don't necessarily have time. If you heard in one of the earlier shows, I believe it was Willem Amnon that was talking about everything being for sale in the bivouac except time. And that is absolutely the truth. There is no time. Paul Neff with his mechanical issues of the electrical system just a couple days ago. Definitely found that out and pushed and pushed and pushed, but he has still got a bike. He has still got a horse in this race. So I am absolutely stoked for him and being able to continue on in the rally. So very, very excited to see what shakes loose on this next half. I think this is going to be an interesting half. So before we get to the rest of the show, let's check in. I did get an update from Mason Klein. So let's take a quick listen.
Basically, rally's going super good. Having a lot of fun this year. It's definitely way harder than last year's, just like they said it would be. The dunes are gnarly, and the rock stages are pretty good. Yeah, feeling pretty sore. I mean, I don't feel that bad, honestly. I'm pretty surprised. Yeah, just in the hotel right now, getting ready to take a shower because, yeah, use all the hot water up in the whole hotel is my plan. Feel better. It's like I'd never in the whole world guess that I'd be fighting to win the Dakar on my second try. But also, it's like I feel like I should be winning already. But I had that stupid fuel problem. And it's like there's so many things that have to go right in a race like this, you know? And really, it's like you have to be lucky. Like I had to be so lucky to get all the water in my gas, you know? I have to be so lucky. Oh, man. And then I got a penalty yesterday. We wake up so early. I'm like falling asleep on the bike. I didn't even know I got a penalty until I came into the finish line. I got a penalty for speeding in the liaison, which means you're an idiot, basically, because if you go too fast in the liaison, it's like you don't gain time in your overall. You just get a penalty for nothing. And, yeah, I got another penalty earlier in the race. I forget which stage, for speeding in a neutralization zone, which is another section of the race that's untimed. So it's like I keep making stupid mistakes. The one I got yesterday, though, was like, I don't even know. I was falling asleep. There's nothing I could do. I could barely stay awake. Like, I really thought I was going to just fall asleep on the bike and crash. It was pretty gnarly. I guess there's supposed to be like one more rock stage, and then it's all dunes. So we'll see what I can do starting in third. It'd be cool to win another stage from third, but we'll see. And then, yeah, the rest is dunes. So I just have to do my best on, I think, stage 9. And the only way to win now is to absolutely send myself in the dunes. And I don't really like that. But we'll see what we have to do, I guess. Yeah, good to check in on you. Thanks for hearing me out, Victor and everybody. Let's do the second week best as I can, I guess. And good luck to everybody else. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. That was the update. And so, yeah, all the competitors at the hotel, if you guys are wondering where the hot water went, well, now you know. So absolutely stoked to see. I mean, he is, you know, we talked just a few minutes ago about where he's at as far as the overall times go and the penalties that he's incurred. And yeah, I mean, you're talking about 10 minutes for fuel and 4 minutes in time penalties. You'd be looking at a 14-minute lead right now over Skylar Howes. So very, very interesting in his, like he said, in his second attempt, his second try at the Dakar is very impressive. No, any which way you slice it is still an impressive performance thus far. I understand, you know, where he's saying, and this is what I was talking about a minute ago, that the upcoming stage is going to favor the riding style and the terrain and the stuff that he is familiar with, the stuff that Skylar Howes, Jacob Argy-Wright, Paul Neff, Mohar, all of these guys, all the American teams are used to this more rough, rocky type terrain. Although it is challenging, not to take anything away from it, but if anybody's got a better shot at that, I think it's these guys that are used to running in the rough and things like that. So it's interesting to see. It is smart. You know, the dunes are gnarly, and they are only going to get bigger as they get into the empty quarter. My understanding, they are only going to be drier, so it's going to be more sugar sand. So it'll be interesting to see the trade-off and how that goes down. But again, I mean, I'll make some predictions here. So I feel like, I think Mason is going to capitalize on stage number 9 because of the composition of the stage, and we'll get to that here in a few minutes. But I think that in the dunes in the first day, he may lose some time, but then gain some time. I think there's going to be a swing set going on here, because if you're leading out, it's kind of harder to follow or have tracks. And you got to think, you climb to the top of this dune, and at the very other end of it, there could be a fall, or there could be, just a really steep decline. So getting used to getting a rhythm in the dunes and finding your tracks and making that as fast and safe as possible becomes a challenge. Mason is a hell of a navigator and has proven that he can lead out and not lose time like some of the other competitors do when they are leading out, which is really, really good. It makes him, it makes him stand out from the crowd for sure. But now you get into the dunes, it is a little bit trickier. I've never ridden the dunes, and I can tell you right now, I can see the pitfalls of it. I've worked in the industry. I've seen accidents. I've seen cars. That's primarily where I come from. And the dunes are tricky. They will bite you in the ass in a hurry. And so Mason has been very, very smart up until, and will continue to be. So I'm looking forward to seeing this, but I am expecting to see a little bit of a drop and then a little bit of a rise, and kind of a little bit of back and forth because of the nature of the dunes. So hopefully we could get to the other end. I think he is in an absolutely great position coming into it. If he loses a little bit of time, he's close enough, and hopefully the leaders don't get too far ahead of him in the sand. He will have somebody like, in this case, he may have Skylar House coming up from behind him, not today, but tomorrow in the dunes for that next stage. So we'll kind of see how it's going to shake down. I'm looking forward to it and seeing how the breakdown goes. So speaking of updates, let's take a look. There was another update that I did get, and I think we're going to start a new segment, and I think you guys are going to have to help me name it. So there are a couple of in the running right now. One of them is being Gnar Talks, or the other one is In the Wild with Gnarly Dave. Those are the two that I have got so far. I'm not 100% sure, though, which one we're going to use. So I don't know. You guys tell me. But anyway, in the meantime, on the first segment of Gnar Talks, or In the Wild with Gnarly Dave, he had a chance to actually catch up with the man, the myth. No, he's not a myth. The legend, Johnny Campbell, this weekend at the District 37 races. So check this out. You guys tune in.
All right, guys, Gnarly Dave here for Chasing Waypoints. We got none other than Johnny Campbell, back a little early from Dakar. Johnny, how's it going today?
It's a great day out here at the Check Chase at Red Mountain. It's been spectacular conditions. My rider, Ryan Surratt, won his first desert race overall today.
So awesome.
On his Honda CRF 450 RX. Pretty excited about that. And Preston Campbell returned to racing. Unfortunately, he stopped for a down rider, and so he decided to sacrifice his race in order to help a fellow racer. So that was really admirable of what he did.
Yeah, very much so. Hey, so you're back early from Dakar. I mean, everyone knows, but why don't you give those let those that don't know what happened?
So Ricky was doing really good. He won the first stage. Kind of was handed the win to him because the two guys that finished ahead of him got penalties. And so we were trying to hold him back a little bit strategy-wise first week. And then, so we were doing good. He was opening that second stage, opened almost the whole way. Finished a respectable finish. I think he lost about 8 minutes that day on day 2. And started around 15th. And so he was... the third day he was charging up through the pack. I think on time he was running about second overall at that point, and he hit something in the sand that he did not see. It wasn't a really high speed section for what we consider high speed. He was going about 60 kph, and he got ejected, took a big header, big digger, knocked himself silly, and had some a little bit of pain in the back and kind of upper region of his shoulder and neck, and so he was kind of out of it. So he had to call it because it was just too much damage that he felt to continue.
He broke his neck twice prior, I believe, right?
Yeah, he has 2 fusions actually in his neck, and so when stuff happens like that, you have to be very cautious about your crashes and injuries.
Absolutely.
And he knows his body, he knows what he felt, and he made the best decision that he could possibly make, and to not continue. Nor that I really think he could have continued because he was pretty wiped out. But he thinks he could have continued.
Yeah.
But he made a wise decision, a mature decision, to have to unfortunately pull out of the Dakar on the 3rd stage. And from there, the team encouraged me to travel home with him to make sure he was good and okay.
Awesome.
Since he's been home, he's gotten checked out, and there's some neck trauma and stuff there that he's going to have to take care of in the next couple months. But he'll make a full recovery, and we'll look forward to, working his way back to shape and getting back on the horse.
Nice, and that's what brings us out here today for that overall for Ryan at the District 37 race. So you're a popular guy. Everyone wants to talk to you, so we'll let you go. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Noah.
Awesome. So, first of all, let me tell you, Gnarly Dave is now the new correspondent for Chasing Waypoints. That was a pretty good, I was like, dude. So, thank you very much to Gnarly Dave for catching up with Johnny Campbell at the District 37 race and updating us on Ricky Braybeck. And it's hard, right? The bench racing side of it, right? If we all, for most of those listening in, on the bench racing side, right, not actually experiencing it, the focus for these guys is Dakar, right? I mean, there's the other races in between, and they focus on each race, but there's a little bit more on the Dakar. So I'm sure it's gut-wrenching to have to sit there and literally contemplate and make that decision that, okay, this is it for this year. I can't go any further. Even though the body is telling you that, I feel like I got a shot at it, just put me in, coach. But the mind knowing that, this is not something you want to screw with because it leads to other things. So we're glad that Johnny and Ricky, I'm sure, there was some back and forth conversations with there. I'm glad the decision was made that these guys are back. There's Dakar 24. There's a whole season of racing, including the Sonora Rally that's coming up. That's going to be a World Rally Raid Championship round. So it's going to be really awesome to see it. And if you guys aren't or haven't already, definitely check that out. We are going to get our own round here in North America for the world stage of Rally Raid. So absolutely excited to see that. I can't wait to get down there and check it out and get to actually see all of these factory teams hanging out and doing their things and this whole other bivouac production. So I think this is going to be badass. So can't wait for that one. Again, glad to hear that both Johnny Campbell and Ricky Braybeck are both back safe in the States. Ricky's been checked out and everything is good to go, and he's just got to work on some recovery stuff and move on forward from there. So next race coming up soon, I am certain. Okay. So that is the updates for now. We will get you more as they come in. I did reach out to everybody that I could, but again, I'll say it again, is I really, really try and stay out of their hair and let them do what they need to do. And if the updates come in, they'll send me a voice message. I'm happy to share with you guys what it is and as it comes through. But again, these guys are there racing. We're watching from afar. Let's let them do their thing and not be in their hair, because I'm pretty sure they're getting questions, including Skylar Howes up front and Mason Klein as well. So I appreciate Mason taking the time to talk with us or send me a quick update on what was going on. But with that being said, let's get to it. It is time for the stage breakdown, stage number 9 of the 2023 Dakar Rally. Let's talk. 686 kilometers is what they have got in store. Now, right now, local time in Riyadh is 4:42 in the afternoon. So these guys, like I said, is the end of rest day for them, and they are going to be getting ready, getting their last things in check before it becomes time for race. And what that looks like is, these guys are leaving. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. I hope. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is definitely not news to these guys. If they are here, let me mute that just in case. This is definitely not news to them because they are there on the ground and getting ready for the race. So it should not be a surprise to them, but they are going to have an early departure, 4:55 a.m., which actually, you know what? It's not the earliest, but, you know, it's still pretty early. So 4:55 in the morning, the first bike will leave the bivouac, Ross Branch, and then it is going to be 7 a.m. start. So little over, let's see, 4:55, 5:55, 6:55. So about a 2-hour liaison. They got 108 kilometers to go in the morning. Their overall stage, right, 686 kilometers. Or, doing the fancy math here, 425 miles of racing today. So another long day, and definitely going to be a tiring day for these guys, especially if they're not used to this kind of a stage breakdown. So we will get to that here in just a second. So 686 kilometers total, 425 miles. And then they are going to do, first thing in the morning is 108 kilometers to get to the start line of the selective stage or the special stage, which is 67 miles. So they'll run about 67 miles before they get to the stage start. They're going to stretch these guys in fuel because the neutralization, the fuel stop, does not come until 270 kilometers after they leave the bivouac. So basically in the stage, it's about kilometer 162 on the stage. And then they're going to have 2 more checkpoints. So K162 is their neutralization. The first checkpoint is at K249, and then checkpoint 2 is at K264. So 249 kilometers in for the first checkpoint for these guys, which is 154 miles of racing. 264 times 0.62 is 163 miles of racing before they hit the second checkpoint, and then they have the arrive special stage. So once they finish that up, that is a 359 kilometer stage total. 359 times 0.62 is 222 miles, 222.6 miles, actually, to be a little bit more precise, of actual racing. So that is what's going to contribute to their overall time. You guys heard Mason talk about this just a second about picking up penalties inside of the liaisons and or neutralizations. So what it means there is, since it does not count to your total time, speeding has no benefit in either of those areas because you're not actually on the clock formally, but the penalties are there, the rules are still there, and that's one of the things that separates rally from some of the other sports. So 359 kilometers or 222.6 miles of racing, and then they are going to do another liaison that is, again, commuting from the bivouac to the start line or from the finish line to the bivouac. In this case, the second section or road section B is 220 kilometers long, and that is going to be 0.62, 136 miles of commuting after the stage finish to get to the bivouac in Hurrah. So local time, we're looking at a sunrise of 6:39 and a sunset of 17:13, which I believe is 5:13. Minus 12, right? 17 minus 12, something like that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, first bike out of the bivouac at 4:55 in the morning, and they are expected to start at 7 a.m. sharp. Stage breakdown, here we go. So we are looking at a 10% sand stage this time around. 65% of it is going to be on dirt, 7% in stones, 16% dunes, and 1% dry lake. So that 65%, that's what we were alluding to earlier. It's like, hey, this is going to favor our off-road racers, and I'm absolutely excited to see how this works out. I'm feeling like we're going to see a great performance again out of both Skylar Howes and Mason Klein coming into the stage. So I'm absolutely excited to see how this works out at the 2023 Dakar for stage number 9. So look forward for more updates and things of what is going on. Again, as I get updates from the guys on the ground, I'm happy to share those with you guys. Don't forget, check out the American Rally Originals Facebook or Instagram. You can also follow Paul Neff. You can follow, of course, Skylar Howes 110 and Mason_Klein1 on Instagram as well. Check out the at Chasing Waypoints. I am sharing some of their updates and what these guys are posting out onto the stories. So you definitely want to check that and not miss out on those. But man, Here we go. Stage number 9 of the 2023 Dakar Rally is on deck. 14 stages. That means we have 5 stages to go, including this stage. So 5 more stages till we decide who was fastest this year. So absolutely excited. Stay tuned, guys. And remember, it'll make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride. All right, that is the wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram, Chasing Waypoints _official, and, of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.